Welcome to Top News Park, your go-to channel for the latest and most viral news stories. Let's face it, staying on top of current events can feel like trying to herd particularly idiotic cats. Luckily for you, we've got the catnip, the tiny laser pointer, and frankly the disturbing willingness to dress up in a cat costume if that's what it takes to bring you the news. And this April, the news cycle was like a hyperactive kitten hopped up on catnip and Red Bull. We had elections, blackouts, and enough sporting drama to make you question if reality had just decided to start scripting itself for maximum entertainment value. So buckle up, dear viewers, because in today's video we're counting down the top 5 news stories that took April 2025 by storm. From political earthquakes to the electrifying tension of the NFL draft, we've got enough twists, turns, and frankly bizarre moments to leave you wondering, did that actually happen? Or did I accidentally eat an edible? Spoiler alert, probably both. And we're kicking things off in the Great White North, where apparently great now also means completely bonkers. Because Canadians, in their infinite wisdom, decided to elect Mark Carney, former Bank of England governor and man who looks like he could put your entire 401k into a spreadsheet using only an abacus and sheer willpower, as their new prime minister. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, wasn't he like in charge of money before? Isn't that a bit of a lateral move, like going from being the head chef at a Michelin star restaurant to, well, also being the head chef but at a different Michelin star restaurant? And you'd be right, except imagine that the first Michelin star restaurant was doing just fine, humming along, serving up delicious fiscal policy, and then suddenly the second Michelin star restaurant, Canada, decided to set itself on fire, blame it on the moose, and then hand Carney a fire extinguisher and the keys to the establishment. Because that's essentially what happened. The Canadian political landscape was about as stable as a Jenga tower built by a caffeinated toddler before Carney swooped in with his soothing baritone voice and promises of economic stability, and the Canadians ate it up. They flocked to the polls like Canadians flocked to Tim Hortons after a particularly brutal hockey loss, desperate for anyone, to tell them that things were going to be okay. But here's the thing, no one actually knows what a Carney-led Canada is going to look like. Will he be the stern, fiscally responsible leader that his time at the Bank of England suggests? Or will he surprise everyone, don a pair of those ridiculous Canadian tuxedos and start riding moose to Parliament while chugging maple syrup? Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't rule anything out. Because if there's one thing we've learned from this whole ordeal, it's that Canadians are full of surprises. And possibly maple syrup. Alright, moving from the surprisingly dramatic world of Canadian politics to the always dramatic world of the NFL draft, where this year, things got interesting, to say the least. We had last-minute trades, surprise picks that left analysts scrambling for their playbooks, and enough speculation to fuel 1,000 sports radio talk shows. First off, the quarterbacks. Because it wouldn't be the NFL draft without everyone and their grandma obsessing over signal callers, would it? This year, the consensus top prospect was Caleb Williams. A quarterback so talented he could probably throw a spiral through a hurricane and hit a receiver in stride. But of course, nothing is ever simple in the NFL. Rumors swirled around Williams' attitude, his work ethic, basically anything and everything that could be nitpicked was put under a microscope like he was a particularly interesting strain of bacteria. Would he live up to the hype? Would he crumble under the pressure? Would he demand a trade to a team with a better snack selection in the locker room? Well, we got our answer when the Carolina Panthers, in a move that surprised absolutely no one, snagged him with the first overall pick. The real drama, however, unfolded later in the first round when the New England Patriots, in a move that made everyone wonder if Bill Belichick had finally lost his mind, traded up to draft a kicker in the top 10. A kicker. Not a generational talent at quarterback, not a shutdown cornerback, not even a decent offensive lineman. A kicker. The sports world went nuts. Twitter exploded. Pundits spontaneously combust. Belichick in his post-draft press conference simply shrugged and said, field position is important. And you know what? He's not wrong. But still, drafting a kicker in the top 10, that's some next-level Belichickian mind games right there. Are you ready for a blackout? From the gridiron to the Iberian Peninsula, where things took a decidedly less electrifying turn this month. Spain and Portugal, those sun-drenched lands of siestas, tapas, and surprisingly aggressive seagulls, were plunged into darkness after a massive power outage swept across both countries. Millions of people were left without electricity, wondering if they'd been transported back to the Dark Ages, or if someone had accidentally tripped over the cord for the entire peninsula. The cause, it turned out, was not a rogue squirrel chewing on power lines as much as we all secretly hoped, but a technical failure in a major power grid, which, let's be honest, is far less entertaining to picture. Suddenly, millions of people accustomed to the wonders of modern technology were forced to confront the horrifying reality of a world without smartphones, internet, or the ability to make a decent cup of coffee, reports emerged of people wandering the streets in a daze, desperately searching for a working outlet to charge their phones, while others resorted to ancient methods of communication, like actually talking to each other. The horror. The outage lasted for several hours, throwing transportation systems into chaos, disrupting businesses, and causing widespread panic among those who rely on their daily dose of social media validation. Governments scrambled to restore power, while conspiracy theorists had a field day, blaming everything from solar flares to cyber attacks by particularly tech-savvy pigeons. In the end, power was restored, life slowly returned to normal, and everyone breathed a collective sigh of relief, vowing to never take the miracle of electricity for granted again. Except, of course, for the next time a major outage occurs, at which point the cycle of panic, bewilderment, and frantic tweeting will undoubtedly repeat itself. Because let's face it, humans are creatures of habit, even when it comes to our collective freakouts. More NFL news. And now for a story that proves that sometimes truth really is stranger than fiction. Shedeur Sanders, son of NFL legend Deion Sanders and a quarterback with talent that could make your head spin, found himself in the middle of a controversy so bizarre, so utterly unexpected, it would make even the most jaded sports fan say, wait, seriously? So what happened? Well, picture this, the NFL draft is in full swing, teams are making their picks, and young hopefuls are eagerly awaiting that life-changing phone call. But for Shedeur Sanders, that call never came. Not in the first round, not in the second, not even in the seventh. Shedeur Sanders, a quarterback who many projected to go in the early rounds, went undrafted. Now, undrafted free agents are a part of the NFL, but for a player of Sanders' caliber, this was unheard of. Rumors began to circulate, whispers of something more than just a simple oversight. And then, the bombshell dropped. Multiple sources confirmed that NFL teams had been told, either directly or indirectly, to take Shedeur Sanders off their draft boards. The reason? No one seemed to know for sure. Some speculated it was a case of nepotism backlash, that teams didn't want to deal with the pressure and scrutiny of drafting the son of an NFL icon. Others whispered about concerns over his marketability, a term that always seems to be code for something far more insidious. Whatever the reason, the NFL found itself embroiled in another controversy, one that struck at the heart of fairness, opportunity, and the very integrity of the draft process. Shedeur Sanders, a young man with undeniable talent, had seemingly been blackballed by the league his father helped define. The story sent shockwaves through the sports world, sparking outrage, debate, and a whole lot of uncomfortable questions about race, privilege, and the often murky waters of professional sports. As for Shedeur Sanders, he remains undrafted, his future uncertain, but his story serves as a stark reminder that sometimes, even in the world of sports, the game is rigged. New console arrives. Alright, let's end on a lighter note, shall we? Because who needs the depressing reality of political scandals and sports controversies when you can delve into the world of consumer electronics? Yes, that's right folks, we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. The most anticipated gaming console since sliced bread. Okay, that might be a slight exaggeration, but the hype surrounding this thing is real. And the pre-order frenzy is enough to make you think Nintendo is giving away free puppies with every console. Spoiler alert, they're not, although if they were, that would be amazing. The Switch 2, with its rumored 4K graphics, improved battery life that doesn't require you to carry around a car battery for backup, and the ability to actually download games without your internet connection spontaneously combusting, has gamers of all ages frothing at the mouth. Pre-orders sold out in minutes, websites crashed under the strain of millions of desperate fans, and scalpers are already listing consoles online for exorbitant prices that would make even the most hardened gamer consider taking up knitting instead. The console itself is shrouded in secrecy, with Nintendo playing it tighter than a poker player with a royal flush. Teasers have been released, hints dropped, but the actual details are scarcer than common sense in a YouTube comments section, but none of that seems to matter. The hype train has left the station, fueled by nostalgia, anticipation, and the desperate need to finally have a console that can handle Breath of the Wild 2 without sounding like a jet engine preparing for takeoff. So, there you have it. The Nintendo Switch 2, a console so hyped, so anticipated, it might just break the internet, again. And if you're lucky enough to snag a pre-order, well, congratulations. You're now the envy of gamers everywhere, just try not to rub it in too much, okay? And there you have it folks, April 2025, a month so jam-packed with news, it's a wonder we all didn't spontaneously combust from information overload. From political shakeups to sporting scandals, and everything in between, April proved that when it comes to current events, reality is often stranger and more entertaining than fiction. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Top News Park for more viral news updates. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and occasionally slightly terrified by the state of the world. Hit the bell icon to stay notified about our latest videos. See you next time.